Our
Welcome
intro
to.
is way too short. I could not finish my mini Kit Kat.
I was thinking it's too long. I usually, when we do our intro, think that it's too long, Steph. So we are already we have gotten 2 seconds into this podcast, and Steph and I are already disagreeing on stuff. So
So this will
Oh,
be a fun
great.
episode.
that's a good sign.
Here we
Well,
go
welcome to Age of Geek,
again.
everybody. I don't
I
know
was just
who's
going to say par for the course.
yeah. I don't know who's in charge of this episode. I kind
Yeah,
of just took
me.
charge. I apologize. You're in charge. Marlee's in charge. All right.
I'm in charge
Oh,
now.
no.
I am
All right.
taking over. I don't know.
Bum, bum.
Perfect.
Mostly because I want to I don't know. I wanted well, okay, for one thing, I have some trivia questions that I wanted to
Okay.
kind of break the ice a little bit, but I feel like we should
We really need an
also
icebreaker. It's a little awkward up in here.
It is. It really actually is.
Yeah.
So because Steph is here. So
Hey!
Wow. Wow.
All right.
I'm just kidding. I love you, Steph. You're great. But I feel like we should explain maybe why we decided to talk about this topic. Do we even know how it really came about?
So yes, we
No.
do. So there is a guest who is coming to FanX who
Oh,
was
yes.
in a sports movie,
Yes.
and
he's
on an
lovely.
yeah, he seems like a great guy. And the movie it's Blindside is the movie, and this is not. I like that Steph says that because it's setting it up like I'm going to totally diss on this, and I'm not trying to. But in an Instagram post, he made the claim that Blindside was the #1 grossing sports movie of all time. And so that got us interested, and we looked it up, and we found a list on Wikipedia that has Blindside listed as the
16th.
hold on 16th. Yeah, it was taking me a minute to find 16th at $309,208,000 dollars. So and then we looked at the other 15 that are rated that are higher grossing above that, and it raised some questions for us.
It's a Wikipedia. It's a wiki page, right?
It's
Yes.
Wikipedia.
But
Yep.
it is highest grossing, so I don't know if they
It
can.
is highest grossing. This is not the best sports movie ever,
Yeah.
No.
but at first glance, it looked like this guy didn't know what he was talking about when he said it was the highest grossing of all time. But in all fairness, #1 on this list was Furious 7. Now, I'm not super familiar with the Fast and Furious movies, but I'm familiar enough to pretty confidently say I don't feel like they're sports movies.
I mean, I was thinking the same thing because as soon as I saw that
Sports
list, I was
cars.
like,
What more do you need?
I learned something
Sports cars,
new
sure.
today. The
Yeah.
Fast movies are considered
Well, I mean,
sports
but the other thing
movies?
is, well, let's look at this. I mean, The Blind Side is 16, right? Number 18 is a movie I cannot fathom how they got on that list. That's Smoking the Bandit, which we just talked about a couple of weeks ago. So I'm just like, I love that movie. There were no sports in that at all. Oh,
Well,
no, sorry, that's not
according-
true. I take that back. There's a truck race in the very beginning. So
Yeah,
it's like
Well,
NASCAR,
so there's like
go.
some kind of
diesel
truck
trucks.
rodeo.
There's our
Yeah.
tie-in.
Well, and if you
how
look
about-
at this
how about
list on Wikipedia,
Number 25, Babe.
I didn't see that.
Number 25, Babe.
Do they
The pig
race?
movie.
Do they race?
Well,
the
there
pigs?
is a sheepdog competition.
Is
That a sport?
The spider web comp? Is that a competition or just something?
Well,
that
that's
You're thinking
Charlotte's
Charlotte's
Web.
Web.
That's Charlotte's Web.
happens? Dang it.
Babe
Oh
is a
my
totally
gosh.
different movie. So
I love you, Steph. Don't ever change.
My bad.
Marlee, I totally cut you off though. What were you saying?
well, I just with this Wikipedia article, like it has that whole last column that says what the sport is. And like I love how immediately like the Fast and the Furious movies, I mean, they're all just under the category of motor racing. And it's like from what I've heard, like, isn't that kind of more so maybe with the first movie, and then as it goes along, like maybe there's some car races in them, but there's so much more going on that it's like, I don't know. I guess again, I learned something
But-
new with like I did not ever think
Right.
that the Fast and the Furious movies would be
But-
considered a
But it's more
sports
like
movie.
it's more like street racing.
It's
Like
still racing.
not. Yeah,
I mean, is
guess.
street hockey
put
a
it this way.
sport?
NASCAR is driving in a circle.
Yeah, which is
And
how Cars
NASCAR is-
gets on the list.
Yeah.
All 3 cars, aren't they on this
Yes.
list above
Yes,
Blindside?
all
Yes,
3
they're
cars.
considered motor racing.
I also want to point out that the actor we're talking about is Quentin Aaron, not to like tease him or like,
No, yeah,
but just to acknowledge who this person is.
yeah. Well, and again, this brought up the discussion for us. What constitutes a sports movie? What makes a movie a sports movie? Because they have like Forrest Gump on here, and somebody was like, "Yeah, absolutely, Forrest Gump is a sports movie."
Someone,
Well, I
it was
mean-
Robert. It was Robert who said that.
I didn't necessarily like. I didn't know if you wanted to back
I will
off
totally
that
cop
claim.
that.
Okay,
No,
tell us
no,
how
no, I'll
Forrest
double
Gump is
down
a
on that.
sports movie.
Tap, double down.
Double down.
Forrest, well,
Okay,
I mean, for one, he competed in the Olympics in ping pong.
right.
So that's right there. That's one. It doesn't make it that itself doesn't. He was also on a football team. He's also a runner. So there were different sports that in which he competed throughout the movie. It doesn't really make it a sports movie. I just wanted to be
Mm-mm.
difficult with that, but
Yeah.
I could see
Okay.
where they would say it could be on the list.
Well,
I
and
feel
that's
like
where
that's a better option than some of the other ones.
and it like there's a tie in there, and I get. I mean, he wasn't just on a football team; he was on the national champion Alabama football team because he ends up at the White House and drinking too much Dr. Pepper and has to pee. Right? I mean, that's
Roll Tide.
the famous scene. But Roll Tide, perfect. But I look at it. Yes, it has sports in the movie. Does that make it a sports movie, or does the movie have to be like sports are kind of the central part of the movie? Because he does play different sports, but the movie itself is more about Forrest and his life, and it's his military service, it's his life outside of
Well, I was-
military, his business.
I was thinking about that too because most sports movies, I feel like, are probably going to be more like it's inspirational stories. When you think
Right.
about it,
I've got one that's not. I've actually got
I mean,
one that
I
is
know
not.
some that are not,
Oh no.
but I
no.
feel
I've got
like
one
the
that's even
main,
worse than
some
that.
of the main big ones
I,
are
I want to hear which one Robert has when you're done, Steph.
they're inspirational stories that involve sports. So I don't know, is there ever one that's purely sports forward, everything else backwards?
Let's hear it.
So there's a movie from 1979 called, and this is the actual title, "The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh." It is a basketball movie about a failing basketball team in Pittsburgh that they're like the bad news bears of
Mhm.
basketball. And basically I think it's the team's owner has a sister who believes in astrology. She's like, well, if we do this, our fortunes will turn around. So they rebrand the team as the Pisces, and lo
That's
and behold,
strong water zodiac.
the team almost instantaneously turns around, becomes champions. Everybody loves them. So yes, there's a sports forward movie. It's not necessarily inspirational. It is a comedy, but I mean, it's got stars of the time from football, like Dr. J, Meadowlark Lemon from the Harlem Globetrotters,
Oh,
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So it actually has actual basketball players in it, much like the Space Jam movies had Michael Jordan and LeBron James in them, and other players because they weren't the only ones in the movie. But yeah, so
Much-
there you go. The
much
Fish
like-
That Saved Pittsburgh.
Oh my
Much like the gold
gosh.
standard Space Jam movies.
I
Gold
have a
standard of sports
question.
movies.
In
Okay.
this day and age where we are including
Esports is
is considered
Yeah.
sport.
Oh, what was that Nintendo
Halo-
movie?
The Wizard.
Thank you.
Wizard.
Yes.
Would
yes.
Wizard be a sports movie now?
It would now.
Because
Oh
that's the
my
original
goodness.
esports.
It would at this point.
So-
Steph, have you seen Wizard? Do you know what that
No.
movie is?
I do
Oh
not.
man.
No.
Oh my
Marlee, have you seen
goodness.
it?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh wow.
But I was
It had
going to. Oh, sorry.
Fred
well,
Savage.
it's
Oh,
got Fred
Fred,
Savage in it,
you mean
and
Oh,
congressional candidate Fred Savage?
sure, I didn't know he was running for
oh,
office, but
He
I
didn't
think of him
make it
as
into city council, so now he's running for
uh,
Congress.
I
Anyways,
good for
continue.
I just
him.
think of him as Kevin Arnold, Fred Savage, but uh, he he and his brother travel cross country, end up doing the Nintendo World Championships, and that was actually the first footage of Super Mario Brothers 3 was Wizard when that movie came out.
Oh, a
Cool.
little.
Also, the premiere of the Power Glove,
Yes.
which looked awesome in that movie, was not in real life.
Oh my goodness. Well, and I was going to add too that like I think what makes a sports movie too is that it always seems like that there's a character, like there's either a player, a coach, or it's maybe like the whole team that it's focused on. And it's usually like one sport that they kind of focus on. And it's usually like that underdog narrative that they
Hmm.
are a failing team and they need to get some motivation so that they can become good again and beat everybody or actually win a game or whatever it may be. So I mean, so I feel like Robert, your argument that that fish in Pittsburgh one is, I mean, that's totally like
No, I mean it is a sports movie. I mean it's just the trappings around it. The we're going to make the team better by through astrology. It's just like
Right.
that's an interesting plot point or plot device to use.
so yeah, no, definitely. Okay, so now that we've already done our icebreaker, we're gonna do more, and because I have
We're gonna,
trivia, I have
we're
trivia for
breaking the
you
whole
guys.
ice up. Yeah, go for it.
Yes. Okay. What sport is featured the most in movies, like sports movies?
Race. I would say motor car racing.
Well,
Wrong?
okay. Well, if we're
Football.
going off the
Fine.
Wikipedia list,
Fine.
I'm gonna go boxing.
Yep, it's boxing.
Really?
Again, that underdog narrative has played like a huge part in boxing films. Like most films where the audience is influenced to like root for like the lesser known person or like the least likely to win. Like that's like a very, very typical um narrative for
Does that
boxing
Which
does that
is
movies.
list include Digstown with Lou
What
Digstown on
Gossett?
the
list?
Wikipedia list.
No. On her
Oh,
trivia list
No,
of
no, I just was like looking at fun facts and trivia about sports movies. So I don't have any. I
which
made my own list.
gotcha.
So I'm
Gotcha.
sure
which
it's
is what
somewhere.
makes
Yeah.
Rocky such an amazing movie because it is
Mhm.
so prototypical 70s because it takes everything you talked about. That underdog story, he's going to work out, he's got the whole training montage and everything, and then what makes it so 70s is he gets to the very end and he goes the distance, but he loses. And most
Spoiler.
sports movies, sorry. Sorry about spoiling a 50-year-old movie, but
How dare you?
he gets to the very end and he loses by split decision. And usually in a sports movie, in that kind of scenario, the underdog wins, and that's what we love. We love rooting for that underdog and seeing them be successful. And so it's one of my favorite things about Rocky. The first one is he doesn't actually win. He does in the second, and the third he loses, then wins again.
Because
Sorry,
he gets
more
the eye of the
spoilers.
tiger.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he wasn't hungry like Clever was.
Right?
He got
No, the
hungry
Well,
Rocky
again.
movies are a great example of a the franchise all the way up through Creed, I think, or the Creed movies has been good because you get that, the underdog, you get the underdog becomes the guy, and then in his decline, training up the next generation of fighter. Actually, he did that twice because he did it in Rocky 4, I think it was, maybe Rocky 5,
5. It was
whichever,
5
the one that,
with Tommy Gunn.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that may have been 5.
With the
it
Tommy
was
gun?
5.
There was a guy named
that's a
Tommy the
different
Hitman
sport.
Gunn,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, and it was an actual, like, if I remember correctly, wasn't it like a real world kind of crossover? Like there was a fighter who was actually they were trying to promote at the time.
Hmm.
There may have been.
Yeah, it was
I
some
don't.
weird thing.
Rocky 5 is just not my favorite of the Rockies. I'll be honest, and it just Anyway,
Yeah.
Well, and I think sports like boxing and these like one-on-one sports, it very clearly gives you a way to have a good guy and then the people you don't want to win. I mean, you see that like in Karate Kid as well. And then another movie I thought of that isn't inspirational, but is a sports movie, I, Tonya, where you want to root for this woman as the underdog, which she does do bad things, but you still want to like her because of all the things she went through to get to where she's at. So these like
Interesting.
singular sports make it a little bit easier to be like, hey, these are our heroes, these are our villains.
Well, can I take it to an extreme on the flip side of that, where with a team sport movie, dodgeball, you've got
Oh.
definite underdogs,
Yes. Literal
And
underdogs.
literal underdogs, and
Yes.
you're
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
the good teams are the ones who are just like, ooh, nah, really, no.
So I
Uh,
actually have
Vince
a
Vaughn really was a vibe in the aughts.
oh my gosh. So speaking of dodgeball, this isn't a trivia question, it's just more of a fact that I found
Okay.
that I was going to share. According to many cast members, the hardest part of filming the dodgeball scenes in Dodgeball was not flinching when they knew they were about to be hit by a ball.
Oh, I bet that would be hard.
Oh yeah, that would be hard.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting.
It's like the two for
I would've-
flinching.
I would have thought the hardest part about filming dodgeball was trying to dodge a wrench. But,
I mean, if you can dodge a wrench, if you can dodge a wrench, you can
Yeah.
dodge a ball. So I think they were
it's a
fine.
good point.
Dodge,
That's a good
dip,
point.
dive, something, and dodge.
So next
I'm disappointed
question.
I still remember that much.
What was the first sports movie? Does anyone know?
Ben-Hur.
Well, if we're counting gladiatorial sports, which the Wikipedia list did count,
When did Ben-Hur come out? What year?
1959.
Okay, this is a lot earlier. So I'm gonna just tell you guys.
Yeah, I don't know.
Trains. Do trains count as sports? And it's the movie
In
where
1914,
she just ignores
Uh-huh.
me. It's fine.
yes, the movie The Knockout released. It's a boxing film starring Charlie
Yeah.
Chaplin, and it was a silent film.
Hmm.
1914. So again, boxing. It's like huge.
Okay.
Yep.
So what is the biggest opening for a sports movie? Like in its first weekend, kind of.
It'd have
thing.
to be a fast, wouldn't it?
No, we're not counting those. I don't know that this list
Well,
that
this,
Marlee. that Marlee is
I will
looking
tell
at.
you now, my trivia list has nothing to do with the fast movies.
Awesome.
Perfect. I'm gonna guess
Sorry,
cars.
You're gonna go with what, Jake?
Cars.
No. So back to our boxing movies. It's actually Creed 3.
Yeah,
I can
Creed 3 is
understand
doing
why.
really well.
It
Yeah.
grossed over $58.6 million on its first weekend.
I'm
Wow.
definitely watching Creed 3 for the plot.
Shut up, Steph.
Yeah. We know what you mean.
Okay, I have beef with Cars since Jake brought it up.
Okay.
Not a sports movie, not a children's movie. It's a dystopian horror movie about
Oh boy.
Buckle up,
a
everyone.
world millions of years in the future where humans don't exist and cars are the ambient like people in this universe. Did the cars take over the people? Did they put the brains of people in the cars? There is suggestion of cars prehistoric. There's suggestion that the cars follow human laws because there's a queen in Cars 2. Like it is such a messed up. What is
Here-
inside of a car? What's inside?
Well,
Why do they have to
here's-
sleep? How
Here's
do
one.
little cars
Here's,
get made?
yeah. So this is coming out a couple days after Easter.
Wow.
So here's one for you, Steph. There's a Pope mobile, which suggests there's a Pope, which suggests there's Christianity in Cars, and that suggests a car Jesus. At some point was car crucified
There's in Cars
and car
2,
resurrected.
They have to
I don't
go
know. I don't
through-
know.
In Cars 2, they have to
There
go
could be.
through
Thank you,
metal
Jake. I needed that.
detectors where they take off their wheels, much like we take off our shoes, which kind of suggests that there was a horrific terrorist attack like 9/11 in this Cars universe.
Yeah.
So,
I think.
Or did the cars take over and kill all the humans?
and then they get inside of a plane, which is a living thing. It's, I cannot.
They took over our lives. The robots won.
Okay.
So
this is
Marlee,
coming
what's your next trivia question?
the first sports film to win an Oscar for Best Picture?
Rocky.
Rocky.
Yay! Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Bend it like Beckham.
Nope. Not the first,
Actually,
nor
So another
Oh.
quick trivia point off of that. The Steadicam that everybody enjoys, without having to watch hand cam footage, was developed because of Rocky. With the scenes where they were running through the streets and up the library steps, the cinematographer's like, okay, this isn't working, so they developed the technology that became known as Steadicam for that, to give it a clean
Oh.
tracking shot.
That's
Ooh, I
pretty
like
cool.
that. I like that. Okay, I have one. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm just warning you now. If we keep going down this path, I have no problem turning this into a Rocky episode. My Rocky material is deep enough; I can just on the fly, no problem. So
I've
just
seen
you guys are
Rocky
warned.
1 and then the posters for Creed, and that's my Rocky experience.
Is now a good time to tell you guys I've never seen a Rocky or Creed movie?
Sure.
It's a good
Now's as good a
time.
time as.
Oh,
Oh,
she just dropped it off.
Hey!
I didn't do that. I don't
Jake,
know who
that's
did
so
that. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Wow.
It-
Okay,
Wow.
I have one last trivia question, and it has nothing to do with Rocky.
Because of Jake.
Okay.
Thanks, Jake.
No,
Sorry.
it just doesn't. It just happens.
Oh,
to
if you
not.
think I can't
Person
bring Rocky
ruins
up
it for
again,
everybody.
Robert, don't you worry.
Okay. Hold on. Nope.
Yep.
Hold on.
That's fine.
There we go.
There we
Okay.
go. Now we're
Oh,
back.
I needed to go back. Whew. Okay. According
Okay.
to at least 2 different sources, who is the top sports movie actor that starred in 10 sports films?
Oh.
Which is a lot, apparently.
hmm
Vin Diesel.
No.
No.
They're not in the Fast movies. I'm sorry,
Sylvester
I yelled.
Stallone.
Nope.
It doesn't have anything to do with Rocky.
Well, no, because he's been in other movies that were not Rocky movies, that were sports movies.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, Over the Top, Victory. There's one
Over
other.
the top. Yes. Over the top.
There's
I didn't
another
know
one
he
as
did other
well.
movies than Rocky.
I will give you a hint. This actor, like a lot of the sports movies that he was in, there were a lot of like baseball ones and some golf ones
Hank Aaron.
and a bike one.
Oh, it's
Kevin
It's-
Bacon? No.
Adam Sandler.
No, Costner.
Except he is
Kevin
on the top
Costner.
10. It is Kevin Costner. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when you said Kevin Bacon, Robert, I was like, no, it's Costner though.
No,
He's been in-
Kevin Bacon was only in a movie called American Flyers, which was a bicycle racing movie from the mid 80s, I believe.
I mean, could we count Footloose?
Well,
Dance
no,
is
we
sport?
couldn't. No.
It wasn't competitive
But-
ballroom dancing, which
But Costner,
hold on a second.
see,
Speaking of which, how did competitive ballroom dancing become such a popular thing here in Utah? Because I moved here and I was kind of
BYU.
like, why am I
BYU.
flipping channels and seeing ballroom dancing?
because
BYU has a
BYU
big-
has
yeah.
a really good competitive ballroom dance team, and so that is why it is as big a deal here as it is.
Yes.
That would be my
Okay.
guess.
I would.
I don't
think
know that it's popular in this group of Utahns, but I would
BYU
Okay.
or ballroom dance.
both. I think both. Safe to say. So Kevin Costner, what? He's in Field of Dreams, For the Love of the Game, Tin
Tin
Cup,
Cup,
McFarlane USA.
Waterworld.
I don't know if it-
No.
No, that's not a Robin
Batman.
Hood, Prince of Thieves. No, Dances with Wolves.
You mean Red Horses with Water Buffalo?
Am I back?
Yes,
Yes.
you're back.
Okay. Yeah, it's Chasing Dream. Bill Durham, Field of Dreams. For the Love of the
Yeah,
Game.
remember.
Play It to the Bone. And then there's also one like a racing film called The Art of Racing in the Rain. And a bicycle
Okay.
racing
Oh, that's about a dog, isn't
one
it?
called American
You're breaking up. Give it a second.
Fireball.
Wait a minute. He was in American Flyers too? No, I'm
Wait,
curious.
no,
about
I
this.
think just the original. I don't think he was an American
No,
Flyers
American
too.
Flyer. No. But that's the one that Kevin Bacon was in. So that's why I'm like,
Yeah.
I got to see this.
Okay, you're back, Mar. Maybe.
No.
Dang it. Where did I
Kind
leave
of.
off? Because I was in another tab and I didn't know I had cut off.
You said American. Was it American Flyers that you said that he was in?
There was
Marlee?
a bicycle racing movie called American Flyers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that Kevin Bacon was in. So you got
There we
Bacon
go.
and Costner in that one apparently.
Oh, okay. 2 Kevins.
For the
Yep.
Kevin
Well,
fetish.
and that completes this episode's edition of 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. So we made
This
it.
is our
did it!
episode. We call it Kevin's and Rocky. So it's been fun.
Okay, so
Oh,
we
my
talked about the
goodness.
Wikipedia list. I found this list
Okay.
on Collider.
Before we
Go.
move on, though, sorry, I'm interrupting you.
Oh, okay. No, you're fine.
Something about that list is there was only, out of like the top 20, there's only one female-led sports movie. And I know
Which
people are going to
one?
be Alita.
Oh, Battle Angel?
And I think there, I mean,
I don't even know
there
what
could
that
be
is.
some talk that Cars 3 has a female lead,
Oh, wow.
is the best
It
Cars out of
does.
all of them. And I
I
am
would also agree with that.
very upset by this because there are so many female-led sports movies. I made a list.
A lot of them also like star Hilary Swank, I think.
$1 Million Baby is on it.
Yeah, and
Save the
so is
Last
the next
Man.
Karate Kid.
I didn't put that on it. She's the Man. How is She's
I
the Man?
love
not-
She's the
Okay,
Man.
hold on. Time out. Time out. We didn't put the next Karate Kid on there, and we just dismissed it out of hand. But She's the Man has to be on the list.
It's a
Just
soccer
wanna make sure
movie.
I'm understanding the list that we're putting together here, Steph. I'm with you now. Got it.
Stick
Wow.
It. Stick It is gymnastics. It's a fantastic movie. Disney Channel's original Motocrossed. How did that not make any list?
I love that movie.
It's so good. It's so good. I am a millennial woman, so
Steph,
that might help
we-
you frame
Can we
this
have
list as
like
well.
a movie night and watch motocross to see if it
Yeah.
really holds up after all this time?
Still,
Okay, you and me.
$1 Million Baby.
Wasn't Double Team? Wasn't that one that was
I
on Disney
love
Channel?
Double
That almost made
Team.
my list.
Oh, that's on my list.
What
I
was
love
your
that one.
criteria for this list, Steph?
Movies
Just
I
random
like.
movies that are female led that are also
Yes,
sports
they're
movies.
also sports
That's
movies.
Steph likes.
Steph likes.
Okay,
Yes.
but my top 4 are great. Whip It, featuring pre-transition
Page.
Elliot Page. Yeah. It's fantastic and lovely. The story's fantastic. I, Tanya, Margot Robbie is not just a pretty face. She's an amazing actress. Bring It On, which is one of my favorite movies ever. It's such like a comfort movie for me. And then best sports movie, in my opinion, is A League of Their Own. Like, it's so good. Gina Davis is phenomenal. Tom Hanks is in it. I mean, they outshine some of the other, like, I guess, other names that are in it, like, not Whoopi.
Nope,
Not
not in that
Whoopi.
one.
I'm thinking
No.
Rosie O'Donnell. I don't know
Madonna.
why I associated those two.
And Madonna.
And the TV show that they made of A League of Their Own is better, in my opinion, than the movie. So those are two that you should go out and watch. I went through the League of Their Own TV show so fast. It was very smart comedy and very touching. So anyways,
I need to go back
now,
and make a correction also.
okay.
American Flyers was Costner, not Bacon. Bacon was in a movie called Quicksilver, and I was conflating the two, where he was a
Like-
bicycle delivery messenger.
Like, so not the sports, or not the
Not the
super Superman superhero,
Not the superhero,
That-
not the running fast guy.
not the
He was the
sports
bicycle
hero.
through town guy.
Okay. Well, now
Well-
that ruins our Kevin's and Rocky episode.
I'm
and
sorry.
We just
Oh
have
I mean,
my
you can still, we
gosh.
can well, you can go from Kevin Bacon with biking to Costner in American Flyers, and then go to Rocky from there.
and then go to motocross because it's about bike racing.
Oh, there you go. Oh, you got to include Rad though if you do that.
I don't know what that is.
It's a BMX
Yeah.
movie from the early '80s. Not great.
All right, Jake.
But it does
this-
include the
this-
first bicycle backflip on a racetrack. in a movie.
Oh,
I am just so enjoying the two different generations between Steph and Robert and the movies that we're getting thrown out for both of them. It is great. This is must
Oh my
see,
goodness.
must listen podcasting going on right here.
absolutely.
Sorry, Steph, what were you going to say? You said, okay, Jake.
Oh, I was going to say you can continue on with your other less important list than mine.
So this is
The
the
Collider
top,
list.
this is the top 9 grossing sports movies according to Collider, and it's a very different list than what we saw on Wikipedia. So number 1 is Cars with 461 million. Number 2 is Blindside with 309 million. So that gets our friend
Okay.
closer to where his claim was, right? And then we have Rocky 4 at 300 million. Jerry Maguire at 278 million. Creed 3 at 261. Space Jam, the gold standard of sports movies, 230 million. That's the original Space Jam, not the LeBron James one, just to be clear.
Yeah, because
The
that one
Longest
doesn't
Yard,
count.
yeah. The Longest Yard, the Adam Sandler Longest Yard, 191 million.
So I recently just watched that, actually, weirdly enough. It's funny. Adam Sandler's good at his job.
Well, that's good that you think so, because next on the list at number 8 is Waterboy with 185 million.
Okay,
Oh
I
my
take
God.
it back because that movie does not hold up.
I
And
love
then-
that movie. It's so funny.
And then number 9, we have Seabiscuit. I do want to talk about how Adam Sandler is in 2 of the top 9 grossing sports movies of all time. And one of them is not Happy Gilmore. How did that happen?
Yeah, for reals.
Interesting. Golf is
Yeah.
a sport.
Allegedly.
It is. Well, I don't think allegedly.
Yeah. Comedy is good. I don't know. Heard it here first, guys.
I do think it does show the draw that Adam Sandler was at the box office for a while. I mean,
Yeah.
people went and saw. If it was an Adam Sandler movie, people went and saw it. Now,
Yeah.
if it's an Adam Sandler movie, people binge it on Netflix because that's where they all come out now.
I was talking to someone about how Adam Sandler, not just Adam Sandler, but the Adam Sandler type of the early aughts always, and I guess even now still, set them up with the most hot women. And I'm not saying that the underdog cannot, like, the lower cannot get the hot one, but I'm just like, this is also fantasy, like your fantasy fulfillment in movie form.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're
So-
producing it, you get to
Yeah,
make
I was
those
gonna
choices.
say, so you're saying the movies produced by Adam Sandler's studio or his
Yeah.
production company had him matched up with the hottest girl available?
Imagine that.
Shocking.
Weird.
Wow.
But I will say his best sports movie, Adam Sandler's best sports movie, in my opinion, came out just a couple years ago. It was Hustle. It was
never
on
saw it.
Netflix.
I've not
It's
seen it.
Haven't seen that
really
one either.
good. He plays a sports agent. He goes and gets this guy. It's very similar to the Greek Freaks story, where he kind of discovers him playing street ball, gets him
Sounds
to come
offensive.
to the NBA. Offensive?
The Greek
Nope.
freaks.
No. The
Okay,
Greek
anyways,
Freak is
continue on.
that's Jonas Antetokounmpo. I can't say his last name, so I just call him the Greek Freak. But he's a basketball player. That is his nickname. But it's a really good movie, and Queen Latifah plays his wife in that one. So
I do love
again,
Queen Latifah.
matched up with one of the hottest women available. So there you go. But that's a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, Hustle is really, really good. If you
I
like
won-
sports movies, which after Steph's list, I'm not sure.
I wonder if our friend Quentin Aaron was referring to maybe one of the highest grossing sports films based on a true story. Or
And that could be true.
true
A
event.
lot of them, though. There's a lot of
But a
sports
lot of them
movies,
are-
yeah, that are somehow like based on at least like the team, or what was that rugby one? That was like
Oh.
filmed here in
It's
Utah.
a Utah one
Um,
with Sean
well,
Ferris.
it's not just a Utah one. Like it was. I mean, it was a national. Like it was nationally released.
I don't know
What
if it was
was that?
popular anywhere than Utah. To be
Right, but
honest.
it was also filmed here in Utah, and it was based on like the Highland team. But what was that movie called?
I
You
know
guys-
the movie that you're talking about, but I don't know the name of
Yeah.
it. I'll find it.
But
Don't worry,
I
keep
love-
going.
Strong.
yeah,
What?
Forever Strong.
Forever,
Forever
strong.
Strong.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I love that story because a few years after that movie was made,
Oh,
Highland
no.
got in real big trouble for poaching people out of their
Districts.
boundaries. So,
Yep.
awesome
Steph.
team. They're a great team because they have a bigger pond to fish from.
Oh my gosh.
Steph. I love that one because couple years later, the school was found to be cheating. So I think that's great. I love that movie. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum.
Does.
So
Oh my goodness. You know, there is a sports movie that we haven't mentioned yet that I'm actually surprised didn't make it into
there's
like
a
the
number of
high.
sports movies.
There's a lot.
Well, I know, but like I thought it was a lot more popular, but it didn't even make it into this Wikipedia list. And that is Remember the Titans.
I forgot all about that one.
I love
think
that
that one
movie.
hit right in our childhood. So
Yeah.
That was lost on you guys. It's
I'm
really
sorry.
bugging me that just.
Was this you say about childhood?
Oh my
Lost in your
gosh, did
childhood?
you say you don't remember it? My
Yeah,
gosh.
No, I
I said, remember the Titans. I said I forgot all about that one, and you guys just kept
Stop.
going.
Oh, I thought you just like
Stop.
legit
No, I didn't
forgot
forget.
about the movie.
I was there for you, Jake.
Thank you,
But I was
Robert.
like, I was off put by the whole. This was lost in our childhoods. I'm like, that was
Yeah,
not my
I
childhood.
did. Yeah, that lost
Yeah.
me too because it was definitely not in my childhood either. But that's okay.
Yeah, no, that one I just like I remember going like watching it with my neighbor friends. Like we just, you know, we'd have like movie days or movie nights or whatever, and we would just be like, we want like I guess like because it was just a bunch of us like young girls, and so
Sounds about right.
to see like this movie, this football movie. Stop it,
Jake.
Steph. You were there, Steph,
I know.
for part of this.
Okay, but let's think about the cast. You have like Ryan Gosling in it, the hunky blonde dude from
Well, and
from
Denzel
California.
Washington,
Denzel
yeah.
Washington's very pretty.
Was Donald
But-
Faison in this before he was on Scrubs?
I don't know if it was before he was on Scrubs, but he was in this. Yes.
Okay.
But no, like because a huge part of the movie is about one of the coach's daughters who's like this young girl who's like super into football, and it's like very like odd because girls, especially in that time, were like not into sports. And so I don't know, I guess just like as a young girl like growing up, like it was just kind of like it was kind of a cool thing to like Remember the Titans as well, I think. And so it was very popular in our group. And so I have a lot of fond memories of it.
I feel
I remember
like
crying.
Remember the Titans was right in that time where like we had the uber inspirational sports movies that were coming out because you
Yeah.
had Remember the Titans. Disney also put out Glory Road, which is a great
That's a
basketball
good
movie.
one.
We Are
I
Marshall
think
and Kidnapping at the
Miracle.
time.
Which
Oh,
one?
was that?
We Are Marshall.
Yep, We Are
Oh,
I think it came
Marshall.
out just a little after that.
yeah,
Isn't
and
it
Miracle.
42? Was that around? That was probably a few
No,
years
42 is
after
a little
that.
42 was later. Yeah. Oh, great movie though. Love 42.
Yeah.
But
Also not on any list.
the Rookie I think came out around this time as well. Dennis Quaid playing a really old baseball player coach.
Is that the
guy.
one with the walkie-talkies from back that go back in time?
Nope.
Okay.
Don't know what that one is at all.
No, that's the one where he talks.
walkie-talkies that
He
go
like
back in
talks
time.
to his dad, or he's the dad, and he talks to his son. I know what movie you're talking about, Steph.
Thank
but that's
you.
not a sports movie.
Okay. That was right in our childhood too.
Are you talking about
Yeah.
another Dennis Quaid movie where like
Yes.
Yes.
isn't it like White Noise or something like no White
No.
Noise
No,
is the
that's a
horror
scary
one.
movie.
Yeah.
Kind of like Cars.
I know which
scary.
movie you're talking about now. You took me out of it because it wasn't a sports movie, and I was in sports movie mode as I was trying to.
It's very sorry.
Thanks for keeping me on track, Steph.
Movie. Frequency.
Frequency. That's right.
Movie
Which
is
ties in
Frequency.
ties in
Not a
with
sports
REM.
movie.
Anyway,
I think he plays basketball at one point though.
Stop
so
it, Jake.
sorry, Robert. I think he played basketball in it at one point in Frequency.
him and his son might play catch.
Well,
so.
in that case,
gosh.
Top Gun has got to be up there as one of the highest grossing sports movies of all time because they do play
It's a
volleyball.
great volleyball movie. It's a great volleyball.
And then Top Gun Maverick, they play beach football. And those are both scenes that I think stuck out in a lot of people's minds when they saw those movies.
So I haven't seen the second one. Which one is sexier?
You are the only person in the world, Steph, who has not seen the second Top Gun movie.
I haven't.
Okay. You are the only
I
two
haven't
people
seen it.
right here.
I've also not
Tom,
seen the
I
first
know.
one.
Cruz,
still.
found them. The two people that haven't seen it.
I mean, my husband hasn't seen
Are
it.
you
either.
asking? Are you asking which one was sexier? The scene? Is
Yeah,
that what you were?
the beach scenes, yeah.
Uh, Definitely, I would have to say Top Gun, probably, just because it's much more the one in Top Gun Maverick. It's more about we're doing a team building exercise, and it's more about the activity. Whereas in Top Gun, it was very much about look, these guys are sweaty and playing beach volleyball,
I'm
and you had
really
some slow mo shots, and
I'm
yeah,
really glad you answered that serious
you're
and
so welcome.
objectively.
And that scene is what cements Goose as my favorite Top Gun character because he totally has the dad bod and knows it, so he keeps his shirt on through the whole scene, and
We
it's just awesome.
we love a dad bod. We really do.
Yeah. Okay, we got off topic.
Hey, can we
I don't
talk
know where we
about
are at this point.
can we talk about Sandlot for a minute? Because
Another Utah movie?
Yeah, there we
well, and a very like iconic baseball movie and growing up. And yeah, of course, like in Utah, it was a really big one.
That one was actually in my childhood, Robert. I will say that one. I was pretty young when that one came out.
Thanks, Jake. Just hang me out to dry. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sandlot is great, and it's one of the most, I feel like, probably quoted sports movies ever, but not
Mhm.
about the sports quotes. It's about the "You're killing me, Smalls,"
Or the
and
s'mores one.
s'mores.
My
what?
question. You're killing me, Smalls. My question with The Sandlot has always been: it is very quotable, it's very popular, but my question has been: is it popular in other areas, not Utah? Because I know it's popular here, and I think a big reason why it's got the longevity and is so popular here is because it was filmed here, and we all knew it was filmed here. And Robert's shaking his head. So does that mean it?
Oh no!
Not. I don't think it is. I don't think it is beloved elsewhere as it is here for those reasons.
Mm.
I mean, it's
Much like Pool Hall Junkies.
its domestic box office earnings is 32 million. So
yeah, it's a classic here for sure. But I just I love it though. I love The Sandlot. I'm not saying anything negative about The Sandlot. I don't know that I would put it in my top 5 baseball movies though.
that's what I was just gonna. So okay, then what would be, in your opinion, the best baseball movie?
Major
Angels
League.
in the Outfield.
I was not expecting Major League to be one of the answers thrown out there.
Hey, you didn't expect Smokey and the Bandit either. I'm full of surprises.
No, I didn't. I would have to say, oh man,
I'm actually have to
best
go
baseball
Moneyball.
movies.
Actually,
Moneyball's a
Okay.
fantastic movie.
Okay.
I love Field of Dreams. I think that's a great baseball movie.
That's a good one.
The Natural, starring Robert Redford, is another really good baseball movie. Nope. You guys never heard of
High
that
School
one?
Musical 2.
Yes.
I've been waiting to throw that in here somewhere. And High School Musical 1 is a basketball movie.
Basketball.
Yeah.
I'll stick with
Well,
my
that would round
original,
out
A
my
League
top
of Their
5.
Own.
It would probably be Field of Dreams, A League of Their Own, The Natural. We could throw Sandlot in there, and then High School Musical too. That would probably be my top 5
I'm
right there.
so happy right
For
now.
sure. For sure. No, Moneyball's. I was watching a clip of that. It came up on my TikTok feed because people do that on TikTok. They take clips from movies illegally and just throw them on there and get views, and it's fine. That is such a great movie. Brad Pitt is so amazing in that. Jonah Hill is amazing in that. Love Moneyball. And that's based on a true story. Kind of like High School Musical 2 is also based on a true story.
Yes.
About the East High Wildcats, not leopards, apparently.
Other true sports story movies that were not mentioned. Rudy, featuring our beloved Sean Astin.
Yeah, I didn't put that in my top baseball movies because it's a football movie. But if you were to ask me football movies, I would probably put that in my top 5.
My bad. Sorry.
Well, Another one that hasn't been mentioned. Well, because we were just talking about baseball movies, Steph. That's why I didn't mention that one.
I was ready to progress.
All
Maybe
right, all
that's
right.
our
Anything-
segue to football movies.
Anything else you want to talk about baseball movies?
No, we're good. Go ahead. Segue into football movies.
Wait,
No.
I think
we're
once
good.
we got to High School Musical 2, we said everything we needed to say.
yeah, it's gold standard.
Yeah.
Corbin
Yeah.
Blues, Zac Efron,
Mhm.
one
What
of
other?
the Culkin kids. Isn't one of the Culkin kids
I don't know. Is this
I'll-
important?
what?
in High School Musical 2? High School Musical.
Like when you say the Culkin kids, like Macaulay Culkin?
Okay, you guys talk about football, and I'll find out if there's a Culkin in the High School Musical franchise.
I've seen none of the High School Musical movies, so I'm not going to be of any help here.
You haven't
I-
seen them?
I have not
Come on.
seen.
There was no shame thrown at all when you said you hadn't seen any Rocky movies, which are like cinematic masterpieces. And then he says he hasn't seen any of the High School Musical movies because, trust me, I was too old when they came out. So I'm sure Robert, who's a couple years older than me, was also too old when they came out. And we start throwing shade there. You haven't seen any of the High School Musical movies? Oh my goodness.
I'll just go ahead and log off now.
Yep.
Thanks. It was good.
No!
Oh, and just an update.
Oh my gosh.
Lucas Graybell was in the High School Musicals, not a Culkin. So I know you guys were waiting for that update.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Oh man. You know, I
Also
think
filmed in
I
Utah.
will say this. Colin elected not to be part of this episode because it was sports movies. Now that we have gone into High School Musical territory, he is going to be kicking himself when he listens to this
Oh,
episode
he'll be so sad.
Yeah.
because he loves High School Musical, especially High School Musical the musical, and especially
The
High School
series.
Musical the series.
Season
Which
2.
are actual
I
real
don't know.
things.
Yeah. Steph, what are some other movies based on true stories that you have on your list there that you were starting to read through?
So I have Rudy. There was another
Yes.
one. I think Remember the Titans is based on true events.
Right.
I love that one. So good.
What
We Are
were some?
Marshall is also.
We Are
Cool
Marshall.
Runnings.
Okay,
Cool
so let's
Runnings.
talk about
Football
Cool Runnings
movies.
for a minute.
Yay!
Cool Runnings is based on true events in that there was, in fact, a Jamaican bobsled team that competed in those Olympics. Other than that, nothing else in Cool Runnings is based on anything true. You guys should know that.
Oh yeah.
Just in
I
case.
am
We know-
heartbroken.
We know this.
Okay.
But we're still
Okay.
on the bobsled.
Well, I know
You hate
if somebody's
fun, Jake.
listening and they're like, it's not really true, none of it's true, don't leave the comment. Just move
With
on. We
that
already
voice.
covered it. Yeah, that's how. Anytime I read those kinds of comments on anything, that's the voice I hear in my head. It's not true. You don't know what you're talking about. Get off the internet.
Okay, something that was on my list was Hoosiers. Not a football movie. Basketball.
Nope, that is also not. Which is another one we haven't mentioned yet, as we were talking about baseball movies.
Hoosiers.
We don't talk about Hoosiers. That's the wrong school.
I'm so
Oh.
sorry. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
do we have a story there, Robert?
I went to Purdue, which is the rival school in state from Indiana, so we don't talk about that other school. Often.
We don't
The-
talk about
the-
the other school. What
The
school
good
is it?
news is Hoosiers is actually about a high school basketball team, not the University of Indiana.
No, I know, but everybody goes IU Hoosiers is like not them. So
Okay, I like that movie that we can't mention the name of.
no,
Because
it's actually a good movie.
A Cinderella story. Back to
Nope,
boxing.
I think Cinderella Man is what you mean there.
I was like the one with Hillary Duff and Chad Michael Murray. He plays
No.
football.
Slight difference.
Cinderella
Ever so
Man
slight.
with Russell Crowe
Yeah,
is a great
yeah.
boxing movie.
That is a really good movie.
But now we have a great crossover
I've
idea.
seen that one.
Oh.
Ollie.
Wait, that
Will
was based on a
Smith?
real person?
Yeah. Have you heard of this man?
Well, I mean, Will Smith, yeah, but I mean,
That's where Will Smith practiced slapping Chris Rock. Sorry.
Marlee's on a delay. You can see her face.
No, I realized what he said. I was like, wait a second. Wait, what? It was
I can't even be
minimizing
mad
the
at you for that,
screen.
Jake. Sometimes it just comes, and you just have to say it. Yeah, Cassius Clay, I think, is what Ali is about.
Correct.
His mama called him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay.
Yeah. Muhammad Ali, Steph.
Yes. Yes.
I knew that. In fact, isn't there a comic book where Superman fights
Yes.
Muhammad Ali?
Yes, there is. By Neil
Oh.
Neil Adams did the artwork for it. I do not remember who did.
Well, who won?
Ali won.
I've-
They actually took Superman's
Yeah.
powers, so it would be an even fight.
Oh.
But I believe that Ali won the fight. Either he won or it was a draw, but I think Ali won that fight.
So we find out in that comic book, Superman's nothing without his powers.
He's a pretty good reporter, but I mean that's not going to help him, fight, champion boxer.
He can go get pictures of Spider-Man.
Oh,
It's
Steph.
it's a really good thing my husband isn't in this episode like he planned to be.
Oh my gosh. He's going to kill you. I'm
Oh,
going to tell
yeah.
him. I'm telling him.
Oh, Steph.
Thank you, Steph.
If I didn't know you better, those kind of comments would make me much angrier than they actually do.
Well, good. Would Gladiator be a sports movie?
Yes,
Oh.
I will argue
Yeah.
yes, because it does feature quite a bit of gladiatorial combat, which was the sport of the day in the Roman Empire.
That's a good movie,
And then
too.
later in the 1980s, it was replaced with American Gladiators, which was basically the same thing.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Would the Ip Man movies be considered sports movies?
Martial arts?
I'm going to be highly biased here and say yes, because they're fantastic movies, but
They're not fighting sportingly. They're fighting save my lifingly.
Well, no, not always, because I mean, a lot of it was just the honor of the different martial arts schools,
Okay.
depending on which way you're going, which movie you're looking at in the series, and also which Ip Man series you're looking at. Because there's the Donnie Yen movies, but there've been a couple of other movies that have also followed Sifu Ip and his teachings that were not part of the same line.
Would John Wick be considered sports movies for marksmanship?
No.
Oh,
No.
I'm gonna go no.
okay, fine.
That's an
I-
action movie.
Okay, full disclosure, I have not seen the John Wick movies.
You
But I
what?
don't-
You haven't seen that? No, sorry.
Yeah,
I haven't.
I appreciate
I was
that.
channeling my inner Marlee. Sorry.
Hey!
Jake
I
is
was
a
worried.
cultured man. He's seen all the High School Musicals, but not a John Wick in sight.
Hold on, time out. I have not seen the High School Musical movies.
You haven't?
Okay.
In years.
No, not even in years, Steph. Like,
Wait, what?
there was when they came out, there was nothing appealing to. I have taken my daughter to get her picture taken at East High because she was into High School Musical,
Aw.
but I'm a supportive dad. But I have not seen them. I'm not that
Aw.
supportive.
I mean, you have to draw a line somewhere.
That was the line in the sand. Well,
what
Go
you
ahead.
go. You go.
no, go ahead. I was gonna take us
Rock,
off
scissors,
course, so
paper,
go
go.
ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say then what would
So apparently Jake is going to go now.
What did you say, Steph? What? You froze up really bad.
be the best football? Oh, I'm really sorry. What would be the best football movie in your guys' opinions?
That's hard.
Remember the Titans.
I do like
I
Remember
mean,
the
that's a
Titans.
good one.
That's what I would. It's like first football movie.
Yeah. Any
Given Sunday.
Yeah, that's a good one. Totally different than Remember the Titans.
The Replacements.
Little Giants.
I love Little Giants. That's a good one.
For me, it's got to be Rudy. That's one of my all-time favorite movies, just period. So
Rudy is, such a good game. Or, you know what I'm saying. A good movie.
Good game. Good game, Rudy.
That was a
Good
good game.
game.
Yeah, I watched the game this weekend. I watched Rudy. It was a good game.
Hey, did you catch the game?
Oh my
It's a
god.
good one.
Yeah,
It was a
Rudy
good
was on cable. It was pretty good. No, I like Rudy. It's the ultimate underdog story, and I love that. It's not the hey, he makes the team and becomes a superstar player. He doesn't make the team until the captains say, hey, we're going to give up our spot so Rudy can play because he's earned their respect. And then he gets in for like one play. And anyway,
Right.
I cry every time. So Rudy's a great one. Yeah. It's like Invincible, but college instead of pros.
And not Marky Mark and the Football Bunch.
Yep. That was also in that same time frame of the super motivational, positive movies. Inspirational. That was the word I couldn't remember for a second.
I mean, in there, one that I really enjoyed, probably not my favorite or the best, is Gridiron Gang, where The Rock plays a football coach who goes and helps underprivileged, mischievous youth become a football team.
Yeah, I think.
Pretty great.
Aren't they like in jail?
And they might be juvie, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a fun one. The Rock is always cute.
Always cute. He's
Always
just so cute.
I think
He's so cute.
He's
Just
so
precious.
cute. They're just
That's
cheeks.
That Dwayne Johnson. He's just precious. He's so darling.
Robert, did you pick one?
I did not. I was too busy being amused by the antics going on around me. Remember the Titans was good. I probably am going to go with We Are Marshall though.
Yeah, that's a
is
great one.
one of my favorites.
We could also talk about for football movies, Ted Lasso, which is a TV show, and soccer.
But then we can go to Victory with Sylvester Stallone and Pele.
Okay. But if we're
like
talking
1981.
if we're talking about soccer films, we have to talk about Bend It Like Beckham.
No, we don't have to. I mean, we're not obligated to.
It's one of Keira Knightley's first films.
It's a cute one. I like
No, it
that
is a
one.
good movie.
I don't know many other soccer films, so that's what.
Besides,
hold
She's
on,
the Man.
She's the Man.
She's the Man. That's like that movie's in my top 5, you guys. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, not top 5 favorite sports movies, top 5 all-time favorite movies.
She's the Man is.
Mhm. Yes, I freaking love that movie. I can quote the whole thing. And that was like prime Amanda Bynes too.
Yeah, she's not in her prime currently.
You poor girl.
Yeah.
Kicking and Screaming is another soccer movie.
Oh yeah.
Starring Will Ferrell. Yeah.
So Will Ferrell
Will
has to be
Ferrell.
one of those top sports producing people.
No, I don't think he is. I think he was in Kicking and Screaming and Semi-Pro, and that might be the extent of his sports movies that he's been in.
Wait.
Oh, he's not in Dodgeball. That's Vince Vaughn.
He is not in Dodgeball.
Yeah.
That is
Wasn't
in
he in
fact
a
Vince Vaughn.
wasn't he
It's
in
easy
an
to
ice
get
skating
confused, though.
movie?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Yes.
Blades of Glory.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
with
ice
Napoleon
skating.
Dynamite. Yeah.
Wait, was he in the No, wait, he wasn't in the bowling one. What was that one? The Big Lebowski? I
Well,
haven't
the Big
seen that one.
Lebowski. I wasn't sure if you were thinking of the Big Lebowski or Kingpin, which are both bowling movies that he could have been in.
But he was not in Big Lebowski.
No.
He was not in Big Lebowski,
Or
and he was not in
Kingpin.
Kingpin.
What's Kingpin?
Oh, you'll have to look
Kingpin?
it up later. I don't know that we
Okay.
need to get into Kingpin.
No, that's fine.
Okay. But then that takes us to best ice skating movies. And I think encompassed in this, we have to talk about
Ice
hockey
Castles?
movies. All right, you can talk about Ice Castles, but then we have to talk about Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks! That's such a great one.
It's a great
Yeah.
cartoon. Oh wait, there was a movie first.
How dare you?
I dare a great many things.
And I
That
was
was
like,
one of Josh.
Emilio! And
That
then
was
he
one
tipped
of
his hat.
Joshua Jackson's first roles, and he's an adorable little kid.
So
Uh,
in my condo, my unit number is D2, and
Oh man.
whenever I like tell people like if I'm like reciting my address, I'll be like you know, at the end D2, like as in the Mighty Ducks.
Are back.
No,
I
it
always
was just
I
D2 the
tend to do
Mighty
that.
Ducks.
Is
But
it?
I also will be like or R2D2.
Yeah.
Wow,
But I
you're a
always do
nerd.
Mighty Ducks first because yeah.
What
because
about
it's the Mighty
Slapshot
Ducks.
for a hockey movie?
Slapshot's a good one.
I don't know
I-
that
I'm
one.
sure it is.
I'm sure it is.
That was sincere.
Yeah,
That was
I
so
could tell.
sassy.
I could tell. It didn't sound condescending or insincere at all in the slightest. Sure it is, Robert. Robert. Miracle is probably my favorite hockey movie.
Mm.
Oh yeah, Miracle's good. And I actually do like oh no, it's not. I don't like Ice Castles. It's fine. But The Cutting Edge. There you go.
I don't like ice castles. It's fine. Is ice castles fine, or is it fine that you don't like ice castles? I just want
Little column
clarification
A,
on
little
this
column
statement.
B.
I'll let you
Yeah,
guys
I was
decide.
wondering. Let you guys decide. I don't know a lot of figure skating movies besides Blades of Glory and Ice Castles. Sorry.
I've got one. It's another Disney one that
I
was
knew
filmed
you were
in
gonna
Utah.
bring this up.
Go figure.
Oh, that's not the one I thought you were gonna bring up.
Were you thinking Ice Princess? But no, Go Figure was actually filmed here in Utah. Okay, a lot of movies are filmed in Utah. Like
That's true.
we know this. But yeah, I remember when they were filming Go Figure, like I remember it was at the rec center, which is not too far from where I grew up, and they
Was it
like
at
had
the
to shut it
bubble?
down. Mhm.
When the bubble was the bubble.
Yes, it was before the South Davis Rec Center is what it is now.
The bubble.
It was
It was a bubble.
an outdoor swimming pool, and in the winter they put
huge.
a bubble over it.
I just want to let listeners know that we went from not just Utah niche to like super, like now we're like in a specific county where I've lived in Utah my whole life, and when you said the bubble, I have no idea what that is.
Thank you, Jake.
Get on
bubble!
our level.
I don't know that I could, even if I wanted to try. I will be honest with you.
Thank you for not making me feel like so much of an outsider, Jake. I appreciate that.
You're welcome, Robert. I do what I can. Yeah, those sound amazing, Marlee.
Best
They're good
basketball movie.
movies.
Best basketball movie?
Didn't we?
Uh,
I don't think
No, we
we
didn't
named
do
best
basketball.
movie. I think we just talked about some basketball movies.
That's
Yeah.
true. Space Jam.
Gold standard.
Yeah, we already
The
said
first
that was
one.
gold standard at the beginning. Yeah, well, of course,
Semi-Pro.
the first one.
Also gold standard.
Air Bud.
I mean, well, did Airbud? Was the first one a basketball or a football movie? No, it was basketball.
Basketball.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Mike.
Like Mike.
Uh,
Oh my gosh, I remember Like Mike.
It had the kid from Stuart Little in it.
Oh
Yep.
my goodness.
What about Eddie with
I
Whoopi
don't-
Goldberg, where she plays the coach of the New York Knicks?
Deep cut.
Yeah, it's a deep
cut.
I only
Nice.
remember because Greg Ostertag was in it, and he was playing for the Jazz at the time, and he went to go into the game and pulled his pants all the way down. It was awesome. Not really. Anyway,
there's also that basketball movies of Angha-chan.
What?
yeah. sometimes I don't know what to do.
You know,
Try. That's all I
What?
can.
I was
think
in
you just
another
broke Jake.
tab. What just happened?
I don't know. I
Steph was talking
was
about
here
a
and I
movie.
don't know what happened. um,
What was the
I'm
name of that movie
gonna
again,
go White
Steph?
Man Can't.
Uncle Jim.
At the gym?
No, Uncut Gems.
Oh, Uncut Gems. I don't know that movie.
Yeah.
No, not many
White
people
Man
do.
Can't Jump is a classic. Woody
Oh my
Harrelson,
gosh.
right?
Oh yeah, that's an
Woody
old
Harrelson
movie.
and Wesley Snipes.
Luck of the Irish.
Oh my gosh.
Thanks, Steph. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Sorry, Robert. I wasn't allowed to watch
I
rated
just-
R movies
this is-
in that case.
This is the worst. This is the worst case of like movie whiplash I think I've ever had, because we have again gone from White Man Can't Jump, like recognized as a classic cinematic film, to Luck of the Irish, Disney Channel special presentation.
Also filmed in Utah. I'm sorry.
Actually,
I like.
hang on a second. I think that we should actually make one of our upcoming episodes movies filmed in Utah, sports or otherwise, because I think that would actually be a fun thing that we could do. And we obviously can see that Marlee has a few movies on her list that qualify.
See,
But I
this
think
is
that
a
actually be kind of
productive
fun.
episode.
This was not planned at all. It was just, oh yeah, I also remember.
Even so, because then I can bring in the Indiana Jones movies.
Yes.
Those were filmed in Utah?
Yeah,
The
and
third
again,
one
we will do whiplash because Robert will say Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and then Marley's going to say like Troll 2, and it's just going to be
That was filmed in
was
Utah.
not Galaxy Quest, really?
Galaxy.
maybe Galaxy
Wow.
Quest.
Oh, Galaxy Quest. That
I
Um,
actually do love the Galaxy Quest.
That one's silly. I like it.
Okay,
Good old Tim Allen.
but We Are Marshall, great.
We Are Marshall is really good. Also not a basketball movie, so
Yes,
I'm not
it
sure.
Isn't
No,
it?
it isn't. We Are Marshall is a football movie. The football
Okay.
team goes down in a plane crash.
I did not mean to say We Are Marshall. I meant to say
Okay.
Glory Road.
Okay, Glory
Ah,
Road, I will get
those
on
are
board with you.
Okay.
That
Two
is a
very
great
different
movie.
movies. Yes.
All right, fine.
Slight difference.
Yeah. Gotta stay on my level.
I love Glory Road. That's one of my favorite movies,
Mhm.
basketball movies. So I'll go with that one as well, Steph. I was going to say that one until you mentioned it by saying We Are Marshall. That's your favorite basketball movie.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, this episode has been a little bit unhinged.
What are you talking about?
What about favorite boxing movie?
I don't like violence.
I think I think the only boxing movie I've really seen that I can really remember is the Cinderella Man. I really like that movie. I liked that one a
Cinderella
lot.
Man is really good.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that
the only
one.
one I think I've seen.
Yeah, I'm a
about you
diehard
guys?
Rocky fan.
And I'm gonna give it on the Rocky bandwagon as well.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll throw a nod to like Diggstown with Lou Gossett Jr. and crap, it wasn't Roy Scheider. Cannot remember who the other guy in that movie was now, and I can see his face, and it's just not coming to me.
let's see.
Yeah, not coming to me. Shoot.
I can't believe you guys haven't mentioned Real Steel.
Because it is not a real sports movie.
Fine.
Like Real Steel, I feel like somebody said, "Hey, let's take these knock'em sock'em robots, and we are going to make a movie," and that is what Real Steel is.
Come on,
So
there have been worse concepts for movies before.
That's
Oh
fair.
no, there are definitely worse concepts. In a world where Sharknado exists, everything gets a free pass.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
Touche.
Okay, I already mentioned Million Dollar Baby, which is great,
Yeah.
but also The Fighter with Batman,
Ben Affleck.
No, Christian Bale.
another Christian Bale.
What was the one with Ben Affleck? Wasn't he in a boxing one
I don't know.
recently, or a fighter one?
I don't know. But did you know he can speak Spanish and is blowing people's minds?
Who?
Ben
Ben
Affleck?
Affleck?
Yes.
Oh.
I did not know he could speak Spanish.
Never really occurred to me. So
I mean, he's married to J-Lo, so who I believe also speaks Spanish.
Yeah, I kind of just assumed she seemed pretty fluent in English, and so they just talked in English, but that's only because that's the only language I've seen either of them speak. So, shame on me for assuming. I apologize. I'll show myself out.
I guess you've never seen Selena then.
Jake, come back.
There we go.
I don't know that I have seen Selena.
I haven't seen that
Oh,
either.
it wasn't filmed in Utah or a sports movie, so I will stop talking about it.
Yeah, well, so we'll
But
just stop there.
Yeah,
But it's
save
good.
that for another podcast.
I know
Songs about
it's
dead singers.
I know it's
Spoiler
not
alert.
boxing, but I doubt we're going to ask what our favorite professional wrestling movie is. But I would have to say The Wrestler is
The
really
Wrestler.
good. Yeah.
Okay, but what about oh, give me oh no, that's not a wrestling movie. Never mind.
We Are Marshall.
Did you say
Nacho
did you
Nacho
say-
Libre.
Oh my
Nacho
gosh.
Libre.
That's not the one I was
Wow.
thinking of, but that is a wrestling movie.
So yeah, this is where I'm stuck, I think, a little bit. Because we're talking about two very different things as far as a good movie. Like Nacho Libre is probably one that I'm more likely to kind of just casually sit down and watch than The Wrestler. But The Wrestler is by far a better movie than Nacho Libre. But I'm going to quote Nacho Libre more than I'm going to quote The Wrestler.
That's probably true.
Yeah, that's definitely accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard when good enjoyable doesn't necessarily mean good.
Yeah.
And
Well,
yeah, good doesn't necessarily mean the most enjoyable thing you want to watch over and over and over
yeah.
again.
Well, and The Wrestler was cool
And I haven't
because
seen
it.
this one.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jake. No, go
I'm just
ahead.
going to say The Wrestler was cool because it peeled back a lot of the curtain of professional wrestling for people before. Like now, the way professional wrestling works, a lot of people are aware of how everything works behind the scenes and backstage, and that they're much more open about things than they used to be. But when The Wrestler came out, that wasn't necessarily the case, and it kind of peeled a lot of that back. Whereas Nacho Libre treated wrestling like a cartoon, basically, which is fine. That fit in the movie and it fit in the plot, but it's just very different. Sorry.
You could
What were
maybe
you gonna
call The Longest Yard a wrestling movie because Goldberg is in it.
Yeah, I don't think he wrestles, and he was actually a football player
Not if you're talking
before
about
he
the
was a
original The
wrestler.
Longest Yard.
Was he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that about Goldberg.
Yeah, he played for the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay,
actually.
but I'm a Stone Cold Steve Austin girl for life.
Okay, he did not play football, or
No.
was he in The Longest Yard?
Okay, what were you gonna say, Robert? Before Jake interrupted you.
No, I was
Oh
just
my
going to say
gosh.
that if you're talking The Longest Yard, I was going to say about the original movie, not the remake, because I have not seen the remake, and it is yes, Steph, it is an old movie.
Yeah.
With
I think Burt Reynolds
Reynolds
was in The
and-
Longest Yard. Yeah,
He was
Yeah.
in the original or the new one too.
yeah, but he
probably looked
played
better in the
Adam
first one.
Sandler's. Yeah, he did. His mustache wasn't as old in the first one, so
I don't think he had a mustache in the first one actually. Because before the stash was established is his trademark.
Hey,
well, then how did
it
people
is
know
an
it was
old
Burt Reynolds?
movie.
He made a number of movies without the mustache, oddly enough.
Yeah,
Then it
So-
just became a thing.
yeah, and what a thing it became, actually.
Yeah,
It
true.
was amazing.
No, the one I was going to say earlier was Fighting with My Family.
Yeah,
And I haven't seen that one, but I've heard it's actually a really good wrestling movie.
yeah,
heard that
it
too.
is. We talked about that one on Movies That Make Us like a couple years ago. It's another really good one that kind of peels back the curtain a lot on professional wrestling and how it works and things like that. And it's well done. It's entertaining.
So I Googled wrestling movies because I needed
Oh,
it in
boy.
front of me. And under the wrestling action movies category,
Oh,
it
no.
starts with Warrior, which I haven't seen,
Oh,
but I've heard
Warrior.
really good things about that one with Tom
Yep.
Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Yeah.
And
Yep.
then
Warrior's great.
right next to Warrior, it lists Hot Rod.
That's
Like
not
the-
wrestling. That is
I mean,
stuntsmanning.
but the whole plot of the movie is he wants to be able to beat his stepdad in wrestling. And that's what he does, is he wants to prove
I
that
guess
he's a
that's
man
true.
and can wrestle him, and he prepares himself, but he also wants to like prove himself
I'm gonna
in the
save your
stunt
life so I
thing.
can kick your ass.
That
Exactly. That's the whole plot. Wrestling. I love that
well,
movie.
and Warrior is a very different kind of wrestling as well. That's more the collegiate high school, like amateur wrestling, as opposed to the show and escapades of professional wrestling. So
There's
anyway.
like a lot after like okay. I actually this has been a lot of fun because this is giving me a good list of movies that I need to watch. Because there's a lot of like core sports movies that I've never seen. And I'm like, what happened? What's going on here? I was stuck watching all those little Utah ones, I guess, growing up. And the
Hey.
Disney ones.
Don't disparage the name of High School Musical.
Oh, I wouldn't. I would never. Because we're all in this together, Steph. So
We're
you know.
all in this together.
Yep.
I think
Gotta
we
get your head
have
in
to
the
talk
game.
about what the best like dance or cheerleading movie is. We've talked about all these more like masculine sports. We need to talk about more refined sporting.
Well, you mentioned Bring It
Okay.
On earlier.
Yes.
That's a good
Indeed.
one.
Save the Last Dance is also about professional dancing and is lovely. Does no one have anything else to offer?
I'm sorry.
I do, but I can't remember
this
the name of the movie. Hold on.
Step Up?
Which is the one? Is
Magic
Step Up?
Mike?
Oh my gosh. What's
Breaking. If
the
we're going with
movie
dancers, I'm going Breaking.
with America Ferrera?
Oh, Gotta Kick It Up.
Gotta Kick It Up. That's the one I was thinking of.
all of these movies sound like the same thing to me. Step Up, Bring It On, Gotta Kick It Up.
I mean, that is a pretty big part of
No,
dancing.
Breaking.
It's
That's
like
straight up going to Breaking.
I don't think I've seen that, Robert.
Which one?
Is it an older film?
I wish I could say I was surprised. Yes, it is.
Black Swan. That's a ballet movie.
Oh,
Ooh, Black Swan.
All right. Well, that was short-lived.
I'm looking at competitive dance movies right now to see which ones I've actually seen, and I haven't gotten to
Mad
one
Hot
yet.
Ballroom. That's what I was thinking of.
Billy Elliot.
That
know
is a
what?
movie.
Come on now. It's a child
I'm
dancer.
Okay, I don't know why that means. Like, I like that you say that. Like, it's a child dancer, so of course you've seen it. Like, I don't understand what the problem is. Come on.
Oh my
Fine.
gosh.
Let's move on to another sport.
I'm
Well,
sorry. I
back
will
to
watch more
dancing.
competitive. How
Well-
Saturday Night Fever came up? Are we going to count that one as a competitive dance movie?
Sure.
John
I don't know.
Travolta.
Okay, here's another good dancing movie, Stomp the Yard.
Great movie.
It's a good one.
Could you count Drumline as a competitive sports movie?
That's music though.
All right, fine.
I don't know.
Although don't they do like step and they do like
They do Step, but I mean, I think that I'm going to have to side with Marlee on this. That's more of a music movie than a sports movie. Like, even though it's in the middle of a football game, or there are those competitions in the middle of football games.
Kids, if you haven't watched Drumline, that's before Nick Cannon had his Baker's Dozen of Children, and it's actually quite a wonderful, wholesome movie.
I like that one. That one is good. There's a lot of good
Where
sports
he had
movies
his
out there.
Baker's Dozen of Children.
Oh my goodness.
You know by the end of the year he's going to have 13. Come on now.
I yeah, it's
I mean, I don't know if we do know that, but yeah. Oh my goodness. Should we wrap this up? We've talked a lot. We've gone over a lot of sports movies, and we
We
I
had,
have.
yeah.
I will say this. I think we've had fun doing this
Yes.
here.
Yes, we have.
Well,
I will say that.
yes, it does bring up the genre of sports movie and what constitutes sporting movies. We didn't get into
Mhm.
any racing movies.
Days of Thunder.
Is it
Uh,
Thunder? Is a good one.
what's the one
That's
that was
Tom Cruise, by the way, guys.
Mm.
Circa
pre or
Top Gun.
pre or post Scientology?
Pre, I think. I'm not sure when he got
Hey,
into
I am not
Scientology.
sure.
that's another episode we could talk about Colts. Um,
I
Ooh,
don't want to talk
yeah.
about Colts, Steph.
I want to talk about Colts.
Okay.
uh, are there any last thoughts on, I guess, sporting movies?
Yes. There are lists that include movies that have nothing to do with sports per se, like Marley's list. There are there are lists that have things to do with tons of movies, like Jake's list. But we can find sports movies. I mean, you can run the gamut of them and just kind of go, do we count this because we enjoy the sport? Do we count this because we enjoy the story behind it? But all in all, just a fun time. Just have a fun time at the movies, I would say.
Yeah. I think sports movies are interesting to me. I'm not a baseball fan at all.
Get out.
I
No, just kidding.
I'm sorry. I can't sit and watch a baseball game. I did go to a baseball game last year, and that was a lot of fun. We went to a Giants game with my son, and that was really
You don't
cool.
have a spare 6 hours to spend sitting in a stadium?
If you do, it is a great day out. Like sitting in the ballpark is very different than watching it on TV, and it's a fun
Mhm.
experience.
I've
So
yeah,
I
I went.
definitely see the appeal of that.
I've seen the Rockies. I've been to Colorado Stadium.
I thought you were
That's
talking
the
about the
name of
mountains for
it.
a second there. I was about to go.
Yeah,
Most
you
of us
just
here
look out the
have, but
window.
okay.
Uh, but I love baseball movies, and I think that's what I enjoy about a sports movie is you get the drama and the story, um, not that goes beyond just the game, and it makes it, the competition aspect of it, I think, makes the story interesting. But for me, I've just really always enjoyed a really good baseball movie. While I won't really want to sit down and watch a baseball game on TV, and I think that's because of the storytelling that happens. Same thing like watching. Um, I was trying to think of a really good golf movie, and all of them escaped me right
The
now.
greatest
But
game
like,
ever played.
yes, that's a great one. Greatest Game
Bagger
Ever Played is a
Vance.
great.
Isn't Bagger Vance a that's
Legend of Bagger
Mm.
Vance is a sports movie and a golf movie, but like I wouldn't sit down and watch a golf tournament, but Greatest Game Ever Played, I would sit down and watch that movie because of the story and the intrigue. And I think that's um, there's just something built in about the storytelling that you can do with sports of, this is the competition, the intrigue, the drama. It's all right there. And you can take almost any major game or sport and you can get those kind of stories and make movies out of it. And it's pretty cool.
That does raise a quick question, though, of what is your
Hmm.
stand on sports in general versus movies that include sports in them? Like you said that you mentioned a movie with Greg Ostertag because he's a jazz player. So where does
Right.
basketball fall as opposed to watching a basketball movie? Would you be more inclined to go to a basketball game per se, or would you be inclined to go to a basketball game, or is it just,
Yeah.
I don't need it. I can see this movie, get what I need out of it, and go from there.
Yeah. So it depends on the sport. Like I would go if somebody gave me tickets to a football game, regardless of who was playing, and it was collegiate or higher. I would go because I just love football and I love watching a good football game. Basketball, probably the same thing. I would go to a basketball game, um,
Mhm.
and I enjoy the sports. But part of what I love about the sports is when you like March Madness. We just finished that up, and that's a great time of year to see these teams that you don't expect. Like nobody picked the championship game being San Diego State versus UConn. Like that wasn't on anybody's picks, but it ended up being that, and that's really cool when that happens and that kind of drama plays out. I love the last couple of years watching University of Utah football and the games against USC, which have been really good, tight, close games, and there's a lot of drama and intrigue that goes into watching that game. And so I think sports just have that built in that make for a really good movie. But for whatever reason, baseball movies I would sit down and watch those before a game. I'm sorry, Robert.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
No, I agree though, as far as like the more you know about the sport, the more interesting it is to watch.
Mhm.
And like most sports movies are pretty enjoyable for everyone, but like when I see like volleyball, there's not a lot of volleyball movies, but when I watch like a volleyball movie, I'm like, okay, well they did this. This is why they called this. I can understand that better. Or even like in my job, I have a lot of golf players who come and see me. And I know the only things I know about golf come from what my clients tell me while they're face down on the table. And like I had like a professional caddy as a client, and it was really interesting. And where I don't care about golf per se, learning about it does bring more interest towards it. So I agree with you. Like apparently basketball and football are Jake sports. So we all have our sports that might make something a little bit more interesting,
Yeah.
enjoyable for us to watch.
Well, and like earlier you mentioned Ted Lasso a little bit, Steph, and I know that's not a movie, but it's a TV show, but like I don't care for like to watch soccer.
Football.
You don't? There's my
your Marleeism.
Thank you, Robert. I played soccer when I was a kid, but I don't like watching soccer.
As decreed by law in Utah.
That is true. That is true. I played for 3 years though. I played past the normal requirement of Utah. That's a joke. It wasn't actually a requirement, Robert.
Yes, because while Robert may not have grown up here, he does have kids, and so he might be aware of any kind of requirement to play sport.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I think after like seeing a show like Ted Lasso, because it's about the characters, it's about everything surrounding the soccer that makes it more entertaining and more like attractive. And so like if someone were to give me tickets to a soccer game, who's our team here? Real Salt Lake. I'm like, see, like, I just don't follow that. But like, if I was given tickets, I'd be like, you know what? Actually, maybe I will go. But before seeing Ted Lasso, I'm just like, I could care less about soccer or like professional soccer. So I think like these kinds of settings, it helps us see it in a different way. Maybe make it more appealing, too.
Yep.
So, yeah, good stuff. Sports movies. Go sports.
Go sports. Go sports team.
Go sports team.
Yep.
So thanks everyone for listening to some of the most unqualified people talk about sports.
Wow.
What do you mean unqualified?
I'll let you decide.
I mean, I sort of play a sport still. Do you play any sports? But we didn't even go over tennis. I play tennis.
That's because there's not any tennis movies ever.
They
don't exist.
Wimbledon.
No,
is a
that's not
movie.
true. There's just the Venus and Serena Williams movie.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep.
Was that good?
What was it? King Richard.
King Richard.
King Richard.
Yep.
Isn't that?
And there's
Who
also a
played
Paul
their dad?
Bettany movie called Wimbledon.
Will Smith. Okay, I thought it was William.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep mentioning Wimbledon until it gets
I
acknowledged.
do like Wimbledon.
Wimbledon.
You also get to see his bum, like most Paul Bettany movies.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a Paul Bettany movie if you didn't get to see his bum at some point.
It's true.
Kevin Costner also went through a phase where you got to see his in every movie as well.
There was that movie with Emma, about the woman who plays tennis against the man.
Oh, Billie Jean King.
Yes, it's not Billy Ray Cyrus.
No, completely different. So completely different.
Steph, where can people find us if they're looking for us online?
We need to end this.
You can definitely find us on Instagram, Facebook. We would love it if you joined us on Discord because we are cool people who talk about cool things.
Like
Clearly.
sports movies.
Clearly.
As exemplified by this episode.
Oh boy.
But thank you everyone for listening.
Yes, thank you.
I hope you had a few good chuckles this episode.
Because I
We'd
know
also-
we did.
we would also love to hear about your favorite sports movies, or the ones that we missed, or the ones that we are dead wrong about.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you later.
Thanks, guys.
This has been an Age of Geek media production.